Close your eyes and imagine this for a second. You've got a tutor sitting right there with you at your piano who has the magical ability to teach you anything you've ever wanted to know about music. I'm talking about your absolute favorite pastime songs, or something you just heard on the radio, or even the exact notes of a solo from your favorite jazz musician, or how to play your favorite hymn in all 12 keys, or virtually anything. Heck, regardless of the task at hand, this tutor never fails to deliver results for you. The tutor's motto is, if you can find it on Google, I can teach it to you. Imagine that. Imagine that the only limits to what you're able to learn is whether or not you can find it on Google, or anywhere on the internet for that matter. Imagine being able to tap into the tens of millions of songs that appear on Google and other search engines, and having a tutor teach you any one of them at a second's notice. A Google-powered piano tutor? That sounds amazing. But only in a fantasy land, right? Because only in a fantasy land could you search for any song you want on Google and have the song taught to you personally with precise attention to detail, step by step, and so slow that you never miss a single note. What's more, there's no rushing, there's no looking at the clock, there's no time's up, there's no see you next week, there's no brushing over something you wish could be repeated. None of that. But again, only in a fantasy land, right? Or maybe not. Introducing Song Tutor, the world's first internet-powered song learning software. Song Tutor magically unlocks the power of the internet to teach you potentially thousands of songs for free. Picture opening the built-in internet browser, searching for your favorite song, and with the click of a button, it starts playing right before your eyes, with notes lighting up in multiple colors, able to be slowed down by 90%, I call that turtle speed, so that you never miss a single beat. The ability to change the key of the song and learn the new key step by step in slow motion with the click of a button. The easiness of clicking a button to get every chord one at a time at your own pace. The convenience of looping a specific part of a song so that you can focus on the parts that mean the most to you. Turning music learning into a fun game of Simon Says. Simply put, Song Tutor is like having a piano teacher there with you 24 hours a day, breaking songs down, rewinding and looping on demand, slowing stuff down to turtle speed, never complaining, and never saying time's up. Your own internet-powered piano tool that turns learning into a fun game of Simon Says, matching your fingers with the lighted notes all in slow motion with the ability to rewind and loop the lit up notes, chords, and progressions. What would that be worth to you? Hi, I'm Jermaine Griggs, founder of HearAndPlay.com, and I've just invested a pretty penny in the last 12 months designing a revolutionary tool that's going to change the way you learn music forever. It essentially turns the internet into your musical playground, giving you access to hundreds of thousands or even millions of files that can be directly opened in Song Tutor. And the rest, as I say, is history. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me show you Song Tutor in action. I can talk all I want, but you've got to see it to believe it. Let me introduce you to Song Tutor. Now, Song Tutor is built with you in mind. That's why the first time you open the program, you'll see a convenient little tutorial window here with a video that you can play to learn all of the ins and outs of Song Tutor. But when you're ready, simply close this window here and you'll notice that a song already loads. This happens to be Amazing Grace. And to take advantage of Song Tutor's power, you just locate the play button here. But unlike any other audio program, notes actually light up here on the virtual piano. So let's check out one of the included songs, Amazing Grace. And just like that, the notes light up. And like Simon Says, I can simply do what it tells me to do. Now, there happens to be 3 powerful ways to learn from Song Tutor. You can import your own files, and we'll actually give you a set of files that I'll be talking about soon. You can access shared files from other members all around the world, And I'll talk about that as well here in our shared area where we'll list MIDI files for you. And the most powerful way to do it is through the built-in browser. So say you want to find another version of Amazing Grace, you would just come here and type Amazing Grace MIDI file, which is the type of file that Song Tutor uses. And a number of sites come up. Here it says there are 49,000 search results. Imagine how many versions of Amazing Grace are right there on Google, ready to be tapped into by Song Tutor. So we might click on any number of these sites. For example, this site here, 8 Notes. And I click there, and the cool thing about it is that the software will tell you what links are actually MIDI files. Because let's face it, there are advertisements and other links that you don't want to click on, and you want to save time by knowing what's going to actually open in Song Tutor. So we've made it absolutely simple. So I would actually scroll down until I find what appears to be a MIDI file. And if I actually just hover over the file, notice up here, it actually says verified MIDI file. It lets me know what type of files are going to actually open when I click on them. So this is a great time-saving feature. So I'll click download MIDI file. That's amazing. Just by finding a song on the internet in just a few seconds and clicking on a link, I'm now able to learn that song. Well, you might be saying, that's a little fast for me, Jermaine. Well, I'm glad you asked, because Song Tutor was made with the learner in mind. It has some of the most powerful song learning features that there is. So what we can actually do is slow down the tempo to as slow as a measly 10% of the actual speed of the MIDI file. So if I actually click play and use this tempo bar here, you can see just how slow we can get. So we'll go slower and slower and slower and slower and slower, and so slow that it is actually going to wait for each chord, literally. Right? That is super slow. That's what I call turtle speed. It's so slow that it hasn't even made it to the next chord yet. It's pretty much just stopped there right on the chord. Right? That's super slow. You have full control. But what's more is that you don't even have to play the MIDI file in time if you don't want to. That's why we created this single step mode over here. And what it allows you to do is just step through each chord one by one. When you're ready to move on to the next chord, right, you can press the button and you can simulate, right, the entire song backwards and forwards. It's that simple. So between the tempo bar, between the single step mode, you've got everything that you need. And you might be saying, well, Jermaine, can I make the notes bigger? Absolutely. You can press this button and we can get those notes so big that they don't even fit on your screen. Or if you've got multiple monitors, or if you've got your computer connected to your HD TV, well, this gets so big that there's no excuses for why you can't pick up the notes. Absolutely huge, right? So that you never miss a beat. And when you're ready to go back to normal, you just press that button. And there we are, we're back to normal. Now, we're not done. Let's find another song. So we'll go over to our browser and say we want to look up a Beethoven song, right? We've always wanted to play classical, but maybe we don't read sheet music, or we've never had a way to learn it step by step. So we can come over here and type in Beethoven MIDI file, and let's see what comes up on Google. So there's 102,000 results. So do you not think you can find multiple versions of pretty much any song you're looking for out of 102,000 results? Well, we'll just click on the first one and see what we find. So here we are at MIDI World. And again, the software will tell you when you're clicking on a proper MIDI file. Now, even though it doesn't say it for these files here, these are more like categories. So you'd go ahead and click on them so that you can go to another page that might show more MIDI files according to those categories. So not all links that you click on will be direct MIDI files. Just venture on the web like normal till you get to what you think is a MIDI file. So here I see a number of songs, and notice they are MIDI files because it says verified MIDI file up here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on maybe Fur Elise. That's a very popular song here, and let's see what happens. So how cool is that? We can learn a classical Beethoven piece here, and with single step mode, right? Because this song has a lot of individual notes, I'll actually turn off chord mode, right? And you can play around with this, but check it out. Right? I can click it as much as I want. I can go here and play it. I can slow the tempo down. And another cool feature, I can loop certain parts. So let's just say I wanted to focus on the beginning, just the part in the beginning, da 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 da, right? I can do that right here in the program, and it will just loop. You see how we're doing that? And I can slow it down even more and have it loop just that part. Suffice it to say, there is no better way to learn anything you want. And it doesn't stop here. Imagine all of the jazz artists out there who've created their own MIDI files soloing in ways that you would never get that type of access and insight into how they think, right? Jazz improvisation solos. And in fact, we include a number of MIDI files with Song Tutor. So not only do you have access to millions of opportunities here with the built-in browser, but let's just check out how to open a file, right? You can click here to open a MIDI file, and it'll open your computer browser window like normal, or you can click this little button here, and this opens the control panel where you can actually set a folder, and any MIDI files inside of that folder will simply show up in the directory. So as you can see, here are all the MIDI files that we include with Song Tutor. There are a number of gospel MIDI files here, there are jazz MIDI files here, and salsa and Latin MIDI files here. So I can click on any number of these. What about Blessed Assurance? Wow, Blessed Assurance. Now another feature is that we can actually use Song Tutor to learn in all 12 keys. Now this particular MIDI file happens to be in the key of C. But what if I wanted to focus on learning in the key of D flat? I simply come to this pitch bar here and I can increase it up to 12 keys, or I can decrease it down to 12 keys. So by going up just one half step, I'm now in the key of D flat. Let's see how this song sounds in D flat. What if I wanted to learn it in the key of D natural? Let's see how it sounds there. So you've got access to all of these different kinds of MIDI files. And like I said, we include jazz MIDI files. Let's see how this sounds. Now, as you can see, this is absolutely powerful. Now, I won't cover all of the features, but I mean, you can change the colors, you can access shared files by members that upload their files. You can click here and upload a file of your own to share with other members all around the world. We've got links to tutorials, other resources, popular MIDI files. You've got your recent files here so that you can simply start where you left off last time. And with Song Tutor, learning songs could never be easier. Now, so far, I've only shown you songs that have one track, and that is a piano track. But notice there are slots here for up to 16 tracks. That's because when you download songs off the internet, some are going to have drums and bass guitar and organ and guitar and all kinds of stuff. And guess what? You have access to those notes as well. And in the beginning, it's going to seem like there's a lot going on, right? But you'll be able to mute certain instruments. That's what this M means. Like, don't show it at all. I don't want to hear it or see it on the virtual keyboard. Or you can solo certain instruments, which means if there's a bunch of stuff going on, but you only want to hear the piano, or you only want to hear the bass guitar, or you only want to hear the saxophone, you can solo. And the K determines what actually shows up on the piano. So while you're muting something, you can still see it. Or maybe you want to hear it, but you don't want to see it on the keyboard. So we give you full control. Now this will make more sense when you actually see one of these types of songs. So let's look up a song like Giant Steps. And we've got 59,000 results. That's the power of the internet. And I'm just going to click on this second link here. And we've got sheet music, but we don't want that. We want to scroll down and see if we can find a MIDI file on this page. And lo and behold, that says MIDI file. And if that weren't enough, it says verified here in our browser. So we know it's going to play in the software. So let's click it. Oh, that sounds awesome. But that's what I meant by multi-track songs. We've got drums here, we've got bass guitar, we've got acoustic grand piano, we've got vibraphone. So what we can actually do is play around with this file so that we can figure out what we want from it. I'll show you how. First, let's slow it down. Now I want to mute the drums, or maybe I want to hear the drums, but just not show them on the piano. Same thing with the bass. So see what I did there? I pressed K so that I couldn't see the drums, I couldn't see the bass guitar, I couldn't see the piano, and now I've got just the solo. Maybe I want to learn that solo, slow it down, and now I've got the solo. Or maybe I don't care too much for the solo, but I want to show just the piano. Or maybe I want to show both. Now, see this drop-down menu here? I can change the color of just this instrument. So I'm going to put the solo in yellow, but I want to make sure that I put the piano track in orange. Now, let's see how they interact together. Or maybe the orange and yellow are too close, so I'm going to choose blue for my piano. Maybe we want to bring back bass, right? Show it on the keyboard, but maybe we want to show that in green. Or maybe we want to focus on the low end, so let's just solo it so that nothing else shows up. And of course, we can change the key. Simply put, you have full control over Song Tutor. So as you can see, it's loaded with convenient and time-saving functionality that's guaranteed to deliver proven results the first time you use it. Notes light up in multiple colors so you never miss a beat. You can slow down songs to turtle speed by up to 90%. You can change the key of any song and it'll light up in the new key instantly. You can use the single step mode, as you saw, to freeze each note or chord so you're never guessing. You can use the loop mode to repeat key parts that you want to focus on. The split feature shows left hand in one color, right hand in another color, and as you saw, you can even pick unique colors for each instrument. Browser mode allows you to conveniently search the net for files that can be instantly played in Song Tutor. You can open files and folders right there on your computer, and one amazing feature is you can share and access files from other users around the world. You've got player and volume controls built right in. You've got support for up to 16 tracks, so you can mute, you can solo, and you can show individual tracks on the virtual piano. And as you saw, you can choose what instruments or tracks to show up on the virtual piano altogether. You have full control over your personal internet-powered tutor. Now, if that weren't enough, you're also going to get a collection of 32 jazz, gospel, and salsa MIDI files to get you started right away, and access to millions of files on the internet with the built-in web browser. Now at this point, you're probably wondering about the price. And quite frankly, you may even be scared that something so feature-rich like Song Tutor may be out of your budget. After all, it gives you full control and freedom to learn as many songs as you want, which means if you can find it on Google, what haven't you found on Google, then you can learn it. That's an incredible innovation compared to costly private piano lessons, buying individual sheet music, or the sheer time it takes to struggle through a song on your own. Now, we originally thought about making it subscription-based. That means we charge a monthly or annual fee to use the program, say $9 per month or $108 per year. And even at $108 for the year, Song Tutor would be absolutely worth it. $108 to transform the internet into my own little magic hat, pulling out whatever I want to learn? Heck, sign me up, but I'm not going to do that even though I think it's well worth it. But let's face the facts though. No private teacher is going to sit with you and transpose one lesson into all 12 keys to make sure you absolutely have the concept down pat and slow down each one the same amount of time each and every time. It's just impractical, and at $30 per half-hour lesson, extremely expensive. But Song Tutor does it with the click of a button. All right, drum roll, so here's my price. For just a one-time payment of $67, Song Tutor can be yours. No subscription, no annual renewal, just $67. But to sweeten the pot, I'm going to double the number of lesson files to 64, giving you 2 files per song instead of 1. That means you'll get a first level and second level for each song, the first level being easier than the second. That's 64 starter files and my Song Tutor software for just $67. But that's not all. To make this an absolute no-brainer decision, if you order today, I'll give you my national introductory price of $47, another 30% off to celebrate the release of this revolutionary platform. That's a one-time fee of $47 for 64 lesson files, 2 lessons per song, the revolutionary Song Tutor software, access to millions of songs on Google, and stress-free in-home learning made easy. So click the big Add to Cart button now to get started. And to make this a no-risk proposition for you, here's my guarantee. If you don't like the software and files or anything whatsoever is not right, simply email or call us and we'll refund you 100%. Click the big Add to Cart button now to get started. Here's what happens next. Place your order at our website by clicking the button below, and once the transaction is complete, you'll be sent to our download center where you can download both the Song Tutor software and the lesson files. Everything is lightweight and will take literally minutes to download. Then start playing songs, slowing things down, changing keys, loading as many songs from the internet into the software as you want, as long as they're MIDI files. You're not stuck with only our files. That's the beauty of this. 30, 20, or even 10 years ago, this was impossible. But thanks to the power of technology, you can now have your very own piano tutor, breaking songs down, lighting up keys, changing keys, all on demand with the push of a button for a fraction of the cost. Click the big Add to Cart button now to get started. The software works on both Windows PCs and Macs running OS 10.8 or higher. So what are you waiting for? Click the Add to Cart button and start learning your favorite songs, chords, progressions, licks, and tricks in all 12 keys now. Click the big Add to Cart button now to get started. Jermaine Griggs signing off, and remember, if you can hear it, you can play it.